1. Definition of jealousy. Jealousy in relationships is often described as a complex emotional state that emerges when a person perceives a threat to the stability or exclusivity of a valued connection. Unlike envy, which involves desiring something someone else possesses, jealousy typically arises in relational contexts when there is fear of losing affection, attention, or intimacy to another person. At its core, jealousy is fueled by insecurity and fear, whether justified or imagined. It combines multiple emotions, including anger, sadness, anxiety, and distrust, and manifests differently across individuals. In romantic relationships, jealousy often emerges in response to interactions with potential rivals, whether those interactions are real, perceived, or even imagined. Importantly, jealousy can vary in intensity, from a fleeting discomfort to an all-consuming preoccupation that disrupts daily life and erodes trust. While it is often perceived as negative, psychologists argue that jealousy is a natural emotional response, much like fear or anger, and can serve important functions in human relationships. In moderation, it may heighten awareness of a relationship's value and motivate protective behaviors. However, when jealousy becomes excessive, irrational, or controlling, it can undermine intimacy, fuel conflict, and even lead to emotional or physical abuse. 2. Psychological roots. The psychology of jealousy is rooted in both evolutionary history and individual psychological development. From an evolutionary standpoint, jealousy is thought to have developed as a survival mechanism to protect pair bonds. For men, ensuring paternity certainty historically meant guarding against sexual infidelity, while for women, jealousy may have evolved as a response to emotional infidelity that threatened access to resources and commitment. This evolutionary lens explains why jealousy, though uncomfortable, may serve protective functions. On a psychological level, attachment theory sheds light on why some individuals experience jealousy more intensely than others. People with secure attachment styles tend to feel more confident in their partner's commitment and are less prone to jealousy. In contrast, those with anxious attachment may fear abandonment and interpret ambiguous behaviors as threats, fueling jealousy. Similarly, avoidant individuals might mask jealousy with detachment, but still struggle with underlying fears of rejection. Self-esteem also plays a crucial role. Individuals with low self-worth are more likely to doubt their partner's loyalty and to compare themselves unfavorably to potential rivals. Thus, jealousy is not only a product of biology, but also shaped by early relational experiences, personality traits, and one's overall sense of self. 3. Types of jealousy. Jealousy is not a one-size-fits-all phenomenon. It manifests in distinct forms, each with unique implications for relationships. The first is reactive jealousy, which arises in response to an actual event, such as seeing a partner flirt or discovering inappropriate messages. This form is often grounded in reality and may be considered a natural response to boundary violations. The second type is suspicious jealousy, which emerges without concrete evidence. It involves suspicion, doubt, or imagination running wild, often driven by insecurity or past experiences of betrayal. This type can strain relationships as constant questioning or accusations erode trust. The third form is possessive jealousy, which goes beyond reaction or suspicion and manifests as attempts to control a partner's behavior to prevent imagined threats. It may include restricting friendships, monitoring communications, or demanding constant reassurance. While reactive jealousy can sometimes lead to constructive discussions about boundaries, suspicious and possessive jealousy are more destructive, as they are often based on distorted thinking rather than reality. Recognizing these distinctions helps couples differentiate between normal protective instincts and harmful patterns that need to be addressed, either through communication, self-reflection, or professional intervention. 4. Cognitive aspects: jealousy is as much a cognitive process as it is an emotional one. At the heart of jealousy lies comparison. Individuals often measure themselves against perceived rivals in terms of attractiveness, success, or desirability. This mental comparison can trigger feelings of inadequacy and fear of being replaced. Cognitive distortions also play a major role in fueling jealousy. For example, someone might catastrophize a partner's innocent interaction with a friend, assuming it inevitably leads to betrayal. Others may engage in mind reading, believing they know what their partner is thinking without evidence, or discount positive signs of love and loyalty while magnifying ambiguous ones. These thought patterns reinforce insecurity and heighten emotional distress. Moreover, memory biases can intensify jealousy. Recalling past betrayals or focusing only on moments of doubt strengthens the belief that threats are ever present. Importantly, these cognitive processes often operate automatically, making jealousy difficult to control without conscious effort. By identifying and challenging irrational thoughts, individuals can reduce the intensity of jealousy. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is especially effective as it helps people recognize distortions, replace them with balanced thinking, and develop healthier responses to perceived relational threats. 5. Emotional aspects. While cognitive processes set the stage, the emotional experience of jealousy is what makes it so powerful and disruptive. Jealousy is rarely a single feeling, but rather a blend of several intense emotions. Fear is central to fear of abandonment, rejection, or betrayal. Anger often accompanies this fear, directed either at the partner for potentially betraying trust or at a rival for posing a threat. Sadness and grief may surface when one feels a bond is slipping away, while shame may emerge from believing jealousy itself is a sign of weakness or inadequacy. Anxiety also plays a major role, as uncertainty about the relationship's stability fuels constant worry. These emotions are not only internally distressing but also contagious, as partners may feel pressured, guilty, or defensive in response to jealous displays. The emotional volatility of jealousy explains why it is frequently linked to impulsive behaviors, from arguments to destructive acts. However, when acknowledged and processed constructively, these emotions can provide valuable information. They signal what one values deeply and where vulnerabilities lie. Learning emotional regulation skills, such as mindfulness or self-soothing techniques, can help manage jealousy before it spirals into destructive conflict. 6. Behavioral expressions. Jealousy doesn't remain confined to thoughts and emotions. It often translates into visible behaviors that impact the relationship. Some behaviors are subtle, such as withdrawing affection, giving the silent treatment, or making passive-aggressive comments. Others are more overt and intrusive, including monitoring a partner's phone, checking social media interactions, or interrogating them about daily activities. In some cases, jealousy manifests as hostility toward perceived rivals, whether through confrontations, derogatory remarks, or attempts to eliminate contact. While these actions may temporarily soothe insecurity, they usually backfire by creating tension, eroding trust, and violating privacy. At its most extreme, jealous behavior can escalate into possessiveness or control, such as restricting a partner's freedom or isolating them from friends. In the worst cases, unchecked jealousy can lead to stalking or violence, highlighting the seriousness of this emotion when unmanaged. On the flip side, some individuals may internalize jealousy and avoid confrontation, leading to suppressed resentment and emotional distance. Understanding these behavioral expressions is crucial for both partners. The jealous individual needs to recognize harmful patterns, while the partner must set boundaries and encourage healthier coping strategies to preserve mutual respect and safety. 7. Impact on relationships. The effects of jealousy on relationships are complex, ranging from potentially beneficial to highly destructive. On the positive side, Mild jealousy can serve as a reminder of the relationship's value, encouraging partners to reaffirm commitment and increase emotional closeness. It may spark passion, attentiveness, or open conversations about boundaries and expectations. However, the destructive potential of jealousy is far more significant. Persistent or intense jealousy undermines trust, the foundation of any healthy relationship. It breeds suspicion, leading to cycles of accusation and defensiveness that erode intimacy over time. Jealousy can also create power imbalances, with one partner dominating or controlling the other out of fear. This dynamic fosters resentment and reduces relationship satisfaction. In severe cases, jealousy can escalate to emotional abuse or physical violence, causing lasting psychological harm. Even when not extreme, chronic jealousy drains emotional energy, replacing affection with tension. Over time, many relationships collapse under the weight of unresolved jealousy. Therefore, while it may sometimes act as a catalyst for growth, jealousy is more often a destructive force unless managed with honesty, empathy, and intentional efforts toward trust building. 8. Gender and cultural differences. Jealousy is a universal emotion, but how it is experienced and expressed varies across genders and cultures. Research grounded in evolutionary psychology suggests that men are more likely to be distressed by sexual infidelity, as it historically threatened paternity certainty. Women, by contrast, often experience greater jealousy in response to emotional infidelity, as a partner's emotional bond with another could jeopardize resource investment and commitment. While these patterns are not absolute, they highlight evolutionary roots in gendered responses. Culturally, norms shape what behaviors are considered threatening and how jealousy is expressed. In some societies, jealousy is viewed as a sign of love and passion, while in others, it is stigmatized as possessive or controlling. Collectivist cultures, where relationships often extend into family and community networks, may normalize certain jealous behaviors as protective, while individualistic cultures emphasize personal freedom and see jealousy as intrusive. Gender roles also play a part. Men may feel socially justified in expressing jealousy more aggressively, while women may internalize it due to cultural expectations of passivity. These differences remind us that jealousy is not purely instinctual, but deeply influenced by societal narratives, values, and relational norms. 9. Healthy versus unhealthy jealousy. Not all jealousy is inherently harmful. The distinction lies in whether it is healthy or unhealthy. Healthy jealousy is proportionate, brief, and grounded in reality. For instance, feeling a twinge of discomfort when a partner receives attention may highlight the importance of the self-esteem relationship and spark reaffirmation of love and boundaries. This type can strengthen connections when handled through open communication and reassurance. In contrast, unhealthy jealousy is persistent, exaggerated, and often irrational. It is fueled more by insecurity than reality, leading to constant suspicion, accusations, and attempts to control a partner's behavior. Unlike healthy jealousy, which fades once reassurance is given, unhealthy jealousy remains insatiable, demanding ongoing proof of loyalty. It not only creates emotional strain, but can also escalate to verbal, emotional, or physical abuse. The key difference lies in intent and impact. Healthy jealousy protects relationships without undermining trust or autonomy, while unhealthy jealousy erodes them through fear and control. Recognizing the signs of unhealthy jealousy early is critical, as unchecked patterns often intensify over time, damaging both partners' well-being and the relationship itself. 10. Coping and management. Managing jealousy requires both self-awareness and relational effort. The first step is recognizing jealousy without judgment, acknowledging it as a natural emotion rather than a flaw. From there, individuals can examine the underlying triggers, whether insecurity, past betrayal, or lack of trust. Building self-esteem is crucial, as people with stronger self-worth are less threatened by potential rivals. Communication is equally important. Discussing jealous feelings openly with a partner fosters understanding and prevents misinterpretations. Setting clear boundaries together also reduces uncertainty about acceptable behavior. On an individual level, challenging cognitive distortions, such as assuming the worst without evidence, can prevent jealousy from spiraling. Techniques from cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness, and emotional regulation practices help in reframing thoughts and calming intense feelings. In relationships where jealousy has become destructive, couples counseling provides a safe space to rebuild trust and establish healthier dynamics. Importantly, coping is not about eliminating jealousy entirely, but learning to manage it constructively. When approached with honesty, empathy, and self-reflection, jealousy can transform from a destructive force into an opportunity for personal growth and deeper relational resilience.